What down, family? It's your boy Street Newz Tv. Back at y'all with another Chiraq Street Legends. And this episode is going to be about none other than EBE Bandz.
Really give a fuck what he say or she say. Stuff a brick in the rental like freeway. Move it, then we sell it all on eBay. And then we do it again, just like a rich lad. And if you want it, we got it with no delay. But I'm working around clock, don't be late. I keep 22 shots like C-Day. Ain't got a thought they gon' do whatever the team say.
AKA Billy the Kid. Now, Billy the Kid comes from that EBE set, 79th and South Shore, clicked up with another set that goes by the name of GME. They're on the 87th and Burley. They're clicked up. They are a set of Titanic stones and also Black Pea stones. Now, EBE Bandz. I think that what's so amazing about this guy's story right here is that he's actually a Chiraq street legend, for one, because he's the only white guy, only thorough white guy from Chicago that's in the drill scene and that has been in the drill scene. Now, a lot of people might say, well, you know, Slim Jesus was doing his thing. But the thing about Slim Jesus is, for one, Slim Jesus was not really about that. And for two, Slim Jesus is not from Chicago. So, you know, those are two big differences. Now, at first, I thought that, EBE Bandz, you know what I'm saying, he was just a rapper. He wasn't really, about no street shit for real. Until I started watching some of his interviews and seeing some of the interviews that, some of the guys that he messed with. And this dude is actually official. You actually got a lot of guys that vouch for him. As a matter of fact, one of my partners that I did a video on not too long ago told me that EBE Bandz was a real nigga. Now, not to try to sound, funny or anything like that, but it speaks out and it says a lot about him being a white guy involved in a majority black gang. It tells me a lot. It tells me that you really about what you talking about. And it tells me that, you're well versed and you probably know more about the organization that you're a part of than the average, dude that's in the organization. Why do I say that? Because not too many black street gangs, especially in Chicago, is walking around with a lot of white dudes that haven't proved themselves. Now, it would be different if you looked at EBE Bandz and you said, well, EBE Bandz, he got that check. You know what I'm saying? It would be a lot different then if he had some real money. Then you could say, well, maybe he just bought his way in. But that's not the case with EBE Bandz. EBE Bandz really been over there for a lot of years, and he really been over there, you know what I'm saying, doing whatever it was he was doing. I don't know about any bodies that Bandz has, but like I said, he's obviously been in the streets doing something, because everybody that was close to Bandz and a lot of his friends and a lot of people that he dealt with and that really knew Bandz, they vouched for Bandz and said that, Bandz was he was a good nigga and he was a real street dude. Okay, so before Bandz died, Bandz was actually, he had slowed down with the music, but he was cranking back up. I think a couple of years ago, he was more consistent. He was doing his thing, a lot more when it came to the music. And I think that eventually, the tediousness and the strife and the struggle of being a unsigned independent artist and having to go through the process of paying $2,500, anywhere from $2,500 to $5,000, in order to record a song, shoot a video, wardrobe and all of that stuff. A good video, a nice, reasonable video, you probably gonna come out about $5,000. Not to mention, you have to have this song registered. You have to have all type of IPC codes, and it's a lot to it. It definitely has to be registered with BMI ASCAP, and that's if you want to get paid. Also, not to mention copyrights, but that's just for one song. So you could just imagine like what some artists go through when it comes to being, you know, able to actually promote and market themselves financially. A lot of artists just don't got that. And this is what leads a lot of artists back to the streets. You know, after you spend so much time spending all of your money and paying for promotion and nothing still ain't shaking, it's like you get to a point where it's like, oh, is it me? Or, you know, is it something that I'm doing wrong? Is my music not really as good as I think it is? And you begin to doubt yourself. And as you begin to doubt yourself, you begin to kind of slowly give up. This drives you back to the streets, or it drives you into other things that you may not necessarily have indulged in if you would have made it in music. Why do I say that? I say that because I'm a living example of that. Rapping for so long and, you know, still not being able to succeed in that field. So I ended up switching to another field, which was this right here, blogging. I mean, I did do 8 years in prison, but still, it's like after you rap for so long and you seeing, you know, people that just came out yesterday and getting deals, and it's like, damn, what am I doing wrong? You see what I'm saying? So you begin to think like, damn, maybe this just not for me. And I think that's kind of what happened to EBE Bandz. I felt like his momentum kind of got slowed down. Dealing with EBE Bandz' death. According to rumors, EBE Bandz owed some guys some money. EBE Bandz supposedly had got a half a pound of heroin from some guys on consignment. And EBE Bandz, according to rumor, never came back and, you know, paid, you know, the plug. This was supposed to be like a, you know, ran off on the plug type shit, on some plies type shit. And according to rumors, these guys got up with EBE Bandz, and the guys ended up killing EBE Bandz. A real dreadful scene. I think they burned his body up, left him in the trunk and all type of stuff. But I think where EBE Bandz messed up at, when you look at these guys that, you know, they're trying to convict for this, like I said, everything is alleged. We don't know if it's, you know, if they're guilty or innocent. When you look at these guys, these don't look like no tough guys. You see what I'm saying? You know, they look like they kind of like geeks. So, you know, if this what did happen, EBE Bandz, I'm pretty sure he was looking at these guys like, oh, this is sweet. You see what I'm saying? Like, you know, I ain't never gonna get this back. And the way that EBE Bandz thought, I figured that just maybe, you know, that may have been his thoughts, because you got to think about it. EBE Bandz was a white guy, but he, you know, deep down inside, he was, you know what I'm saying, he's really a black man. So, you know, he had adopted some of the thoughts and the ways of us. You see what I'm saying? That's how we think. We think, you know, a lot of times when we see something that we feel like sweet, we going to try to expose it. We going to try to, you know, do everything we can to, you know, juice it until, you know, we burn that bridge and that bridge just ain't there no more. I mean, that's just what niggas do. And like I said, according to rumor, that's what supposedly had happened. They did EBE Bandz very bad, man. You know, whatever happened. I think they found him in Rockford, Illinois. And I just want to say, you know, rest in peace to EBE Bandz, and condolences goes out to his mother. This was a very sad story. EBE Bandz, he was real good at rapping. He was getting better. As a matter of fact, I felt like he was definitely one of the best from over there on that east side. And, you know, like I said, bro, just a tragic story. Just another tragic story out of my city, or the outskirts of my city, rather. But he was definitely affiliated. I felt like he could have went a lot further than he did in life. I don't think that him affiliating himself helped out his situation none. And like I said, condolences to his family. Merry Christmas, peace and blessings to all. Happy New Year and happy holidays. It's your boy SNTV. I'm out.
Life until this music shit. This for whoever going through some shit. This for whoever wanna go do some shit. I put my life into this music shit. Tell my little story in the booth and shit. Then grab the 40 and go shoot some shit. My life into this music, so I'm struggling in the booth. I don't speak unless it's truth. And go to war, don't call no truce. You better call up all your truth. Please don't get one thing confused. Been through too much to ever lose. I ring your bell, don't never snooze.